Mats Holmberg comes from a small island between Finland and Sweden called Åland. He studied in Helsinki, Finland to become an engineer of machine automation. Soon after graduation, he began working as an engineer in the United States. He saw the business opportunity and began working hard to win his freedom. He soon moved back to Sweden to begin seriously building his business. And now, here's Mats Holmberg.
Doesn't matter where you are. My goal today is just to kind of lift you up and say, hey, let's go and try to understand that this is a very, very easy business. But before I get into, I mostly want to talk to the new people today. Because when I came to my first seminar like this, I will talk later on tonight. At my first weekend seminar, they told me to write down my dreams. And we went to a meeting. We had like a breakout session where we wrote stuff down. And I was looking at it yesterday. I have a picture in my Diamond video of that paper. And I was looking at it yesterday. And I saw it's 25th of January, 1998. And that was yesterday, 10 years ago. So if you're here for the first time, I mean, you don't have an idea where your business can be in 10 years or your life can be in 10 years. And it's pretty amazing. That was in Dallas, in a Hyatt, just like this. And so this is just an amazing business. Over the weekend, you're going to realize that you see a lot of good speakers come up here, and like Elena came up here, yeah, I decided to make this business go. I went to my first weekend as a new leaders club. 18 months later, I was an emerald. Yeah! That's like very good. But like, that's not what most people do. like I'm going to tell a little bit of my story, and you're going to say like, okay. So, yeah. And you also might be thinking like, oh, I could never be up on stage talking like that for an hour. But you see, in this business is a process. If somebody would have told me 10 years ago when I was sitting scared in the back there saying that somebody would tell me in 10 years, Matt, you will be traveling the world. You will be telling your story. You will be talking to thousands and thousands of people all over the world. I would say, no. Not me. No. But you see, they don't come there in the back and say, you're going to be doing the same. No. You just take it small steps in your time. And you see, where do you learn all this stuff? It's just by doing the presentations. A person came up to me and asked me, so did you go to any school to learn this? Absolutely not. It was in front of the whiteboard doing home meetings, like showing people the presentation. And after you've done a lot of meetings, you know what not to do. So you kind of skip that part, and you kind of like try to connect with the living, like, hello, is the power on? Anybody at home? Like, dee-doo. So, and you realize that if a joke doesn't work, you just skip it the next time. And so I'm still working on them, and one day I might find a good one. But anyway, when I got to my first meeting, I was very confused because I was an engineer. I was thinking, like, what is this? I mean, people standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. I mean, I said, I'm fine with either, but can we make a decision? like, kind of like, what is this? And I mean, to be honest, when I got going in the business in the beginning, I did not really like everything about this business. And you know what? 10 years later, be honest with you, I don't really like everything about this business. But you know what? That's not this business. That's life. Because I know that you don't like everything about this business. But you're not going to like everything about your life either. So, but what I realized in this business, I can do what I don't want to do so I could get what I want to have. But most people, they don't want to do the things they don't want to do, but they're never going to get where they want to go. If you're following what I'm trying to say. But I have to work on that one. So anyway, when I came to my first seminar, I was just thinking like, they're going to say, so-and-so is going to tell their story. I said, I'm not interested in so-and-so and what their story is. I came here to learn to do this thing. You see, when I came to my first weekend, I'd been in for 3 months, and I thought like, yeah, I was going to, but I hadn't really, you saw the curve that David was talking about? That curve? I never experienced it. I was sitting here thinking like, what? That never happened. I mean, my curve was this. You see, or actually, maybe more like this in the beginning. But I'm going to get back into my graphs a little bit later. But I actually going to be telling you a little bit about my background today, because that's kind of what's important in this business. Because when I came here the first time, I was listening to all kinds of different speakers, and I was thinking like, why would a doctor do this? Why would a so-and-so do this? And I started to think like, I remember there was a truck driver, and he was up here because my upline said, come to the meeting, there will be professional speakers, and there will be this, and there will be that. And there was a truck driver up on stage. He had not finished school, and he was just like, very nervous and standing there with the microphone. And I went to my upline and said, what is this? You said this is professional? I said, no. That's just a brand new Founders Platinum. Okay, so Founders Platinum. So what is a Founders Platinum? Yeah, they make certain amount, this many $1,000 and a yearly bonus of this. And I said, what? That guy? Maybe I should start taking some notes what he's talking about. And that's when I realized that it's so important that you understand that all people come from different backgrounds. So I'm going to go through a little bit about my background, where I came from, so you understand that it wasn't really like this in the beginning. And so I'm actually born in Finland, about 200 kilometers. What is that? That's about 150 miles from the Russian border. That's where I was born, and that's where I lived my first year. And I didn't understand why we actually moved from there, because I really liked it. That's where my dad was. My dad kind of like grew up there and stuff. But now when I'm becoming a man soon, maybe someday, and because my mom comes from an island right between Finland and Sweden, so here's where my dad was born, and here's where my mom was born. And after 1 year, we moved to the middle. And after a few more years, we moved to the island. And I didn't understand until I basically got into this business. And I heard on a CD by Mitch Sala said, women only want one thing, that is everything. And if you keep your wife happy, everything is happy. So I understood that that's why we moved to the island. So I kind of grew up on this island, and it is a beautiful place. I mean, if you ever Google or something, punch in Åland. Never mind. But it's a very beautiful place in the middle of Scandinavia, right between Finland and Sweden. That's where I grew up. And in the summer, remember I said summer, it is very, very nice. It's a small island with actually 6,000 small islands put together with, you go with a boat in between and stuff. But in the winter, there's not a lot of stuff to do. But I got introduced to snow skiing, like downhill, and I really started to like snow skiing. And you've never probably heard of the island, but we don't have that much ski resorts there. We got one ski resort, and the drop is 22 meters, so that would be about 60 feet. And the slope is about 120 meters long, so that would be about 400 some feet. So that's where I kind of grew up to snow ski. And you could take 3 turns, like 1, 2, 3, and then you were down. It's kind of like, wow. And then you hold on to a wire, then you go up again, and then you go 1, 2, 3, And then you're down again. You say, this is good, this is good. So that's what I used to do for about 6, 7 evenings every week. And I liked it. It was fun. I mean, I really liked our ski slope there, and learned all the jumps, all the rocks not to hit, and all kinds of fun stuff. When I was 8 years old, my parents did a little bit of a mistake. We went to a Swedish ski resort. It was like about a mile long. So I did my 3 turns. Wow. Can you imagine how much slope we got left? Wow. I did 3 more turns. I said, wow. And we were there for a week. And I said, when I got back to my hometown, I was like, what's this? And now you might be thinking, what does this have to do with this business? It's got everything to do with this business. Because you might, before you came into this seminar, you might have think like, yeah, I got a good job, I got a good salary. That's kind of like the 3-turn slope. It is good until you see something else. And today I actually want to try to think a little bit bigger to see what this business is all about. Because when I came back to that 3-turn slope, it was not fun anymore. So I started to talk to my parents. So, okay, when can we go? Like, I want to go next weekend. So anyway, we started to travel quite a bit, and I started to compete. And to make a long story short, my parents started to talk to me quite early about getting an education, because my parents told me, like, money does not grow on trees. I don't know if you've heard it here. And I was very, very disappointed, because we lived out in the woods. So I thought my parents just went out and picked some stuff, and then we went skiing. But that was not really how it worked. So my parents started to talk to me about getting me education. And why I was a little bit hesitant about getting an education, I grew up with something called dyslexia. So that means just that I can't really read and write. And when you have dyslexia, you can't read and write, you don't really love school. you know there's more fun stuff to do in life than sitting and trying to read some stuff that we are gu. Yeah, you kind of get the point. And you see, when I went to school, it was in the early 80s. Also, at that time, people didn't really understand that dyslexia was something that you weren't just like, but all my friends had not got that information yet. So this was like, that I was a little bit like, cuckoo, because I couldn't read and write. And so they were making fun of me, and so my self-confidence, I mean, when you're growing up, it's not maybe the best, but after you hear that for a few years, it kind of gets lower and lower and lower and lower. And actually, the worst part was women. You see, the guys that were making fun of me, we used to play soccer and stuff like that. So somebody, so you were making fun of me? Excellent, yeah. Oh, sorry. You crying? Okay, sorry. Or you hit them in another nice way, like, oh, yeah. But you see, women, you can't hit a girl. So I was kind of like, when they were making fun of me, I was just like, so kind of my self-confidence just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to a point where I realized that this is not really good. I mean, I started to get older and realized, okay, I need the education. I don't need to know how to read and write. I'll fix that one up. But somewhere down the road, I probably want to have a family as well. And that's much I remember from biology, that I can't get that on my own. So I started to figure out, like, okay, this women stuff, how am I going to kind of like get that going? So I actually, my wife that you saw in the video, we actually met in the 10th of May 1998. And how do I remember? Because we were when you were like 14 years old, where I come from, we go to something called confirmation with the church. And I don't know if you have it here. You go to like a 2-week Bible study thing and just try to explain stuff. But anyway, we were playing like, you have something called like softball here. We have something called similar, but you throw the ball up this way. So we were going to play this game, and I was going to be the one batting, like. So, and Cecilia, my wife now, she was the one throwing up the ball. And I was the one who's going to go and hit the ball. And then she came there. And I was just like. So I kind of fell in love, but she didn't. And to make a long story short, exactly like this business, it only took me 9 years to get a yes. So I mean, if you don't give up, you're gonna get what you want, exactly like this business. And she should actually be here telling her part of the story. But she's 100% melancholy. And we got 2 kids. One is 4 and one is turning 1 on Thursday. And everything needs to be in order. And she thought, if she goes away now, maybe he doesn't get his food at exactly the right time. But then I said, and you know what, darling? 2 days before I leave, you're probably going to say, I wish I would have joined you. And you know what happened? He said, I wish I would have come with you. I said, yeah, I knew that. But next time I'll bring her. So, but anyway, she's got a pretty funny story, the way she tells it also, because, I mean, I was looking a little bit different at that time. I had a lot of pimples and, yeah, anyway, so I started to go to university. I got my engineering degree. And why did I become an engineer? Yeah, I became an engineer just for basically 3 reasons. I like to travel, I want to have fun, and I like everything that moves fast. So I thought, if I become an engineer, I will get my office with an ocean view, the secretary that will do all the work, and I will have fun, play, travel, and do whatever I want to do. So I got the opportunity in 1995 to come here to the U.S. on an exchange program. And I was going to be here for 6 months and then move back to Sweden and actually start working for Volvo, making cars. But the girl that I had at that time, I was very, very in love. We were going to get married in 1996 because, you see, when I didn't get Cecilia, I tried to say, okay, who else is here? Kind of like, you see, I thought there was only a few options. I didn't realize that, anyway. So this was kind of the girl that I was going to marry, and we'd been together for 3 years. And the summer of 1995, she came and visited me here in the U.S. I said, in a year we're going to get married. Oh, how nice. And then she kind of said, yeah, I've been thinking. And she kind of said, to make a long story short, she dumped me. So, and I realized I got 2 options. I could either kind of fall down and let's make sure she understands one day that she made a big mistake. So I started to think, what if I could actually try to get a job here in the U.S.? So I started to work very, very hard at the university and try to talk to some friends. And I got a job in as a construction engineer, as an engineer for a manufacturing company. We build overhead cranes. And that was exciting. It was down in Houston. I went to some education stuff, and it was, I was 22 years old, and I got paid money. I don't know if you remember how it was when you went to the university. You had nothing, then you ate the macaroni and ketchup, and then by the end of the month, you only ate the macaroni because you couldn't afford the ketchup. So now finally, I got a job as an engineer. Like, started to make money, but you know what? I didn't get the ocean view. I didn't get the secretary, and I didn't even get. I got an office, yes, but like the first year it was very nice. But where I come from, we have about 4 to 5 weeks of vacation a year, and when I got my job here, they said, you got 10 days of vacation a year. I said, 10? So I kind of went home on my vacation to visit all my friends. I ran around and said, okay, hello, how is everything going? Okay, you got half an hour. You know, she talked a little bit too long. You got 15 minutes. Okay, okay. Mom and Dad, how's it going? And the first year it was okay. My parents were, they were proud. I got a job and everything. A year went by. I came back, did the same stuff. Okay, what happened? And then the second time I said, okay, I'm going to talk to my parents. And when I was going to say bye to my parents, my mom was crying. I said, Mom, what's wrong? I said, you see, I'm the only kid in the family. I'm kind of her, you moms, yeah. So I asked her, what's wrong? I said, yeah. The only thing that is wrong that I won't see you for another 50 weeks. And that kind of hurt me because, so I got on the plane, I flew back to New York and then down to Houston. I was sitting on the plane thinking, if I continue to do what I'm doing today for another 10 years, I don't know if you remember when you were 24, what you thought of a 34-year-old. Now I can tell you it's all wrong. But anyway, I had some ideas. And I thought, I was looking around in the company where I was working, and I could not see one single person that was living the way I wanted to live. They'd been working for 10, 15, 20, 30 years doing what I was doing, and nobody had the life that I wanted. So the summer of 1997, I started to say, okay, I'm in the U.S. I'm going to find something that's going to give me options. I'm willing to put a lot of effort, a lot of time into building something that's going to give me what I want. So I was looking. And to make a long story short, I got introduced to this business in a pretty funny way. I was living together with a friend of mine from the university. We lived together in Houston, and he used to play golf. So he had been out playing golf on a Sunday, and he came back. He knew that I was looking for something. So he said, you know what, Mats? I was just playing golf with Mike today, and this is the invitation. It's not really from the Network 21 manual, or it doesn't even have anything to do with Network 21. But this is kind of the way I got invited. He said, Mike was talking about a way to make some tax-free money. And I said, money? Okay, so I called Mike up. It was like on a Sunday, I called Mike, said, Mike, you got a way to make some money? And he was quiet in the phone. I don't know if you remember when you were new IBO, if somebody would call you up, say, hey, what is this all about? So he kind of said, but you know what? His upline had done something very good. He said, if you ever book a plan, make sure I can be there to show the plan. So what Mike said, hey, I will bring somebody over to your apartment tomorrow. And I asked, why can't you come tonight? And I said, no, we're coming tomorrow. And he brought his upline with him. They showed me the plan. And to be honest, I did not understand a clue. I had no idea what they were talking about. They were showing me this type of income. And the guy explaining the plan said, if you would build this here, and you would build this here, you would build this here, you could live where you want. And that's the only thing I needed to hear. That I could build it wherever I wanted and to live where I wanted to live. And he said, it's been going on since the late 50s. We got a lot of track record. As an engineer, we like track record. That kind of life says, I like that. So I started to get a lot more information and got going in the business. And we did a follow-up, and the guy started me up. And what he said, same as probably your upline told you. He said, write a name of list of people. And then we'll get together and make some phone calls. So I wrote my list. It was 7 people. Like Elena, I knew my 6 because I had 6 engineering friends. We used to go water skiing on the weekends, talk about what we should do so we could water ski on the weeks and have fun on the weekends. So I kind of called, I said, I've already have 7, so this is going to be easy. So when my upline went out through the door, said bye-bye, he closed the door, and he told me, write a list, we'll get together, and we'll make some phone calls. So when my upline went, I picked up the phone, said, hey, I called this girl, her name was Jane. I called Jane up, said, hey, Jane, you know what? I found what we're looking for. What do you mean? I found what we're looking for. Come on over. You need to see this right now. You mean right now? Yes. It's only 45-minute drive. Come on here. So she came. It was like 10 o'clock on a Friday night. She and some other friends came over. I don't know if you remember when you had seen the plan once. You'd never been to a meeting. And now I was going to do my first presentation. Jane came in. I started to do something. I would not call it a plan. It was a something. Anyway, I started talking about, at that time we had catalogs. I started talking to her about, we could buy from these catalogs and blah, 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 blah. Then she said, oh, Mats, how does this work? Very good question. I will find that out. And then we thought, how does this work? A very good question. I will find that out. Then she asked, do you know anything about this? A very good question. I will find that out. And then she kind of said, you know what? I've seen this before. And you know what? To be successful in this, you had to start way, way long time ago. I said, what? Why? And she kind of talked to me for about 40 minutes why this would not work. But you know what? My upline was right on the system. So what they had done, they had booked a startup. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called a startup. But what they've done, they booked a startup in 48 hours. So 2 days later, my upline came to do the startup. And they came over, and I kind of had gone from here to here. So they came over, and they so how is everything going? I said, you know what? I've been thinking a little bit. I don't know if I really have the time. You know, I work quite a bit, and but my upline kind of realized what had happened. So he said, so what did they tell you? I mean, what? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I kind of told them the story. I said, yeah. Then he asked me a question. So are you ready to do it our way, or do you want to continue your way? I said, I think I'm ready to try your way. So I did. And I started to listen to CDs, or it was actually tapes at that time. And I realized I want to build this business fast. I mean, there's no time to muck around with it and just push on it. I wanted to go fast. So I said, okay, what do we want to do to build a fast business? We need to start showing 15 plans a month and a lot of home meetings. And stuff. Okay, let's go. So we started to work, but nothing worked. I got no in many interesting ways. I got to hear no, 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 no. You should understand better. No, 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 no. No. Mats, you're an engineer. You should know better. So kind of like my self-confidence just got like, I was just like, what is this business? I was just like, oh my God. Okay. All right. Then my upline called me. Hey, we got something called a weekend seminar. I said, what? We got a weekend seminar coming up. Okay. What is that all about? You know what? That's where the successful people come and you get, this is why I went. You get 6 months of experience in 3 days. I said, 6 months of experience in 3 days. I thought, what could anybody teach me though? I mean, I'm successful, even though nobody has joined me yet. You see, I'd been in the business now for 3 months and showing a lot of plans, but nobody, like it was, it was just going straight. So I went to this weekend seminar. And like I said, it was the 25th of January, 1998. And when I came into the seminar, I mean, I wasn't really excited. I came in the back. I said, I got 3 months of this. And yeah, clap, yeah, go ahead, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. Yeah, just choose one. I mean, I'm fine with either. And when the weekend went over, kind of Friday night, yeah, that was a pretty good joke. Yeah, fun. And then Saturday started, and Saturday night, and I was kind of like, and I got excited. And on Sunday, I came up to my upline and said, you know what? This is it. Now we're going to start for real. So what am I going to do? He said, if you're serious, if you really want to do this business, what you need, number one, you need to be equipped. Okay, what do I need to equip me with? So I bought a lot of tapes at that time, a lot of CDs, because I needed to have ammunition. I needed to have tools to work with when I was going to go out in the living rooms to show this presentation. But then he also said, you want to succeed, right? Yeah. So what I would recommend is insurance. I said, what? If you would be driving your car, would you drive your car without insurance? I said, absolutely not. Okay. What we have to ensure your success, we have something called the weekend seminar. But I mean, I'm at a weekend seminar, yes. But in 3 months, we have another one. You see, if you want to secure your future, you want to make sure that you get a ticket to the next one. I said, okay, sure. I'll get a ticket. So I bought a ticket to my next weekend. And by Sunday it was over. I mean, I was just, I'm going to be one of those diamond dudes. I'm just waiting. It's coming very, very, very soon. So I started to work the business very, very hard in January. And I looked at the vital signs for 21%. I'm going 21% for next weekend. That is for sure. And I started to work, and I continued to hear no. And I got to a point where I was just like, what is up with this? And I was just like, oh man. And one night when I was sitting there like, my phone rang. Hello? Yeah, hi, yeah. It was my upline. They said, it's a weekend coming up. Isn't there always a weekend coming up? No. There's a weekend seminar coming up. Yeah? And what does that have to do with me? Didn't you buy a ticket? Yeah, that's right. I bought one, yeah. Ooh, when was the weekend again? Oh, next weekend. Okay. And then they asked me, so are you coming? I said, yeah, I'll come. So, I'm a man of my word. All right, weekend is coming up. I drove to Dallas again. Friday night started. Yeah. Yeah, go diamond, buddy, go diamond. Saturday morning, like, that was a new joke. I haven't heard that one. By Saturday night, I said, I started to remember why I wanted to do this. I kind of got excited. And by Sunday, I was back into it. And I said, this time, I went to my plan. So if we want to build this, what are we going to do? He said, you know what? Number one, you need insurance. Okay, perfect. All right, I got the point. I get my insurance. So I bought my ticket. And then he said, you know what? Between weekends, it's always good if you double your business. Okay, perfect. So I should double my business. So you know what I did? I bought an extra ticket. You see, what I realized, I needed to invest in my future. I said, okay, if I'm going to be going... Now, I hadn't had time to tell you Cecilia's version of it. But she was not really excited. You see, she was extremely negative. So that didn't really make it any easier either. So she was always on the back, like, hanging on to, okay, where are we going this time? It's Melrose Place, it's blah, 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 it's whatever's on TV. So, but anyway, after our second weekend, we kind of got even more serious. And I remember went out to show some plants, and something weird happened. I was showing the plant like always, and when it was over, the person said, I'm interested. I said, what? What does that mean? Like, what am I going to do now? Like, never been here before. So kind of like, they signed up. I was just, wow, this is my business. And you don't know what I did? I talked to them about do this and do that. And you know what? Tomorrow night, I'll be at your place at 7 o'clock. And I went there at 7. And we talked about this business. And I mean, we talked and I explained. Because I've been listening to CDs, tapes for 9 months. I mean, been pumping CDs like... I knew exactly what to do. So I was explaining and doing, and at 9 o'clock, I said, all right, see you tomorrow. I'll be back. And the next day, da-da-da-da. And you know what? They kind of wait from, boom. They kind of died. Because I kind of talked too much at that time. When I realized that I had to let the system do the work, instead of me explaining everything, say, here is a CD, listen to it, and see you at the open. You see, that's what you need to do instead. But you see, I didn't have any options. I mean, I had my IBO. That was like my business. We're going diamond together, buddy, right? I wonder how the plan works. Can I build 6 legs for him and still go down? No, I probably need more. So anyway... That was my first IBO. He came and he went. Exciting. Then, when I'd been in the business for 1 year, it was about time to go Leaders Club. So I said, okay, this is it. 1 year in the business, it's time to go Leaders Club. I mean, 3 months to get one IBO. Doesn't matter what happened in the past, I heard on the CD. So now we're going forward. So about 1 month from... I've been in the business for 1 year. I said, okay, Leaders Club. We had the 5 on CP. And why was I so fired up about, for example, about the CEP program? That's another good thing that my upline did in the beginning. When I drove to work, it took me about an hour to drive to work, about an hour and a half to get home. And in the car, I kind of like listen to music and try to visualize the future, how much fun I'm going to have. But then my upline said, what are you going to learn from that music, and how much money are you going to be paid on that music in the future? I said, what? I mean, what's that going to do to your future? I said, nothing. He said, what if you would be on a continuing education program They will explain to you how you can take yourself out of the traffic and get whatever you want in life. I said, good point. So I joined the CEP very, very early. And you know what? People ask me, why did you keep on building this business? And it was many reasons, of course, the seminars, but the CEP. We got one CEP quite early in the business by a couple called Mitch and Dietrich Sala. They were new crowns at the time. And I mean, they built 18 of those 21% legs. And when I heard their story, they were talking about, we were working very, very hard. And after 17 months, we were still at 3%. So I said, okay, I've only been in 10 months and I'm still at 3%. So I'm just cruising the crown here. So that's basically what kept me in. So, I mean, if I would not been on the CEP program, I don't know, can almost guarantee you that I wouldn't be here today. So, when we wanted to go Leaders Club, we set the goal, or I set the goal, and we went Leaders Club. We had 5 on CEP, or at least we got 5 CEP. I paid for 4 of them. It's 1,000 points here, what? Yeah. Yeah, at that time, just the air treatment system had just arrived, so I needed one of those, and I needed a water treatment filter, and so I had about 950 personal PV. So we went Leaders Club. I was proud. 1 year in the business, Leaders Club. Yes! Woo! But the next month, we were back to 1.5%. So that was kind of like my first year in this business. And some points on the way, what other stuff kept me in the business was, actually I got to build a very close relationship with one of my uplines. They were platinums, and he was a lawyer. And I thought, he was pretty funny lawyer as well. I mean, he was always making jokes. And then he was, of course, making jokes about his fantastic downline producing so much results. And but I'm going to get back at him. So, but anyway, no. But he was saying, no, we're not laughing at you. We're just laughing with you. But he was not making jokes about the business, just about other kinds of stuff that I didn't really understand and stuff in the beginning. But anyway, I remember after about a year in the business, I was laying on my couch at home, asking like, what's up with this business? I mean, why don't people understand it? I mean, I've been showing a lot of plans, haven't got any results. And then he asked me, what kind of people have you actually shown the plan to? Have you heard of something called Peer and Above? Yeah, I've heard. You see, I blew my list the first day. Because when I talked to one of the engineers, they talked to everybody else. So I didn't know anybody else. So I had to kind of prospect people. So I started to prospect people in gas stations and, hey, you've been pumping gas for 20 years? I'm an engineer. You should do what I do. Yeah? So they kind of like, oh, what is it that you do? So I kind of showed him the plan, but they kind of like, no. So those were the kind of people that I've shown the business to. So of course I didn't get any results. But then he said something that I would never, ever forget. He said, you know what? You only need to find 3 people that will become platinums, and you will be an emerald. You only need to find 6 people to become a diamond. If it would be easy, it would be 60. And that kept in my mind all the time. And that's basically what I understood, that there ought to be other people that think like I do and other people that want what this business can deliver. So when we'd been in the business for about a year, the biggest basically turning point in our business was out here in California in September of 1998. I'd been in the business for almost a year. And it came to one of the big weekends, and it was Mitch and Dietrich's Crown Ambassador. They were new Crown Ambassadors. And I don't remember if any of you were in the seminar, but I was in the second part of the big auditorium, was standing up there, and I saw when Mitch and Dietrich came in a white, long limousine. And I remember this story. 17 months at 3%, and now they came out there as a crown. You see, I didn't really understand why I wanted to build a business. Yes, I wanted to make money. Yes, I wanted to have freedom. But the real burning desire for me was because I've been put down, made fun of for 10 years of my life. And I had an extremely bad self-confidence. Everybody at home on the island that I knew, kind of when we grew up, I knew as soon as I kind of saw them, I got the bad self-confidence back again. And the only thing I basically wanted was to, like Mitch said, I wanted to be somebody. And when I was standing up there in the auditorium with, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of people, I remember seeing Mitch and Deirdre coming in. I was standing there crying, thinking of, if I would do what they have done, and if I would be coming into an auditorium like that, and if I would record that on a video and send that to everybody that made fun of me, I wouldn't have to go and tell them that they were wrong, but that would be a little bit of a revenge story. That's basically what had been driving me all these years. I just wanted to get a revenge. I wanted Jim and Nancy Dornan to know who I was. I wanted all the people in the front to know who I was. And I said, that's it. So at that weekend and that Saturday night, I said, whatever's going to happen, as long as this world will be, it's not an atomic war, I will build this business. I will find the 6 people. That was the day that I made my decision. And has it been easy? Compared to what? I think it's been easy. Growing up without reading and writing and everybody make fun of you, that's not easy. This business is very, very easy. But you always have to have your goal straight in front of you. When we moved to Scandinavia, the market was going to open in June of 1999. And we found that out in January. And I said, okay, Scandinavia, here we come. There we have a long new list. So we decided we're going to build in Scandinavia. Cecilia was going to move there and build. I was going to continue to stay here. I don't know how I thought that would work. But anyway, to make a long story short, my upline in the US, my upline that we got connected to in Scandinavia was from Australia. He had built in many, many different markets all over the world. He said, if you want to be a diamond here, you need to live here. So I had some very, very tough decisions to take. Okay, in the US, I had 2 nice cars, a nice boat, a pool, and everything. In Scandinavia, I would move back to raining and snowing like this, and no pool, nothing. But here, in Scandinavia, I would be able to get what I want. And so that's basically what I did. So the only difference was that I took a larger commitment. When I moved back home, it was not just like, wow, now I really understand it. No, it was just like the commitment level went up quite a bit. In October 99, I'd been in the business for 2 years. I signed up 5th of October 1997. Here I've been in for 2 years. And now we made Leaders Club for real this time. In Scandinavia, we're like, woohoo! We went Leaders Club. And it took us another year to go silver. There was, when somebody asked me, can we see the catalog? Excuse me? What kind of products? I wonder if it's going to start snowing soon. Because we only had 13. And then when they asked me, so if we order something, what's going to happen? I said, to be honest, I don't know. So it wasn't really great, but the only thing we did, we said, hey, no, you know what? There's a weekend. If you want to come and change your life, this is where you want to go. Because I did my first home meeting. I'd never done a home meeting. This was 19th of June, 1999. I'd been in the business for 20 months before I did my first home meeting. That's how bad I was. And I'd been to Opens for 2 years taking notes. And I was going to do my first home meeting, and I had notes for 45 minutes. I did the home meeting in 12 minutes. And I asked my wife, do you have anything more? She said, no. The stuff I said to everybody, I said, you know what? This is my career. This is what I'm going to do. If you're interested, get some information and come to the seminars. That's the only thing I did, because I knew that the system would work. I didn't know that if I could work, if I would work. So I started to work the system very, very hard. 1 year in the business, we went silver. 6 months later, we went executive platinum. 12 months later, we went pearl. 6 months after that, we went emerald. And after that, we kind of like said, okay, we're emerald. Let's go diamond. A lot of stuff happened in our life, so it took a few more years. But just to come back to, if we could just put the last slide of the weekend numbers. When Dave was doing his talk, I just wanted to show you that this is, when you really get going, the numbers is exactly the same. You remember I was talking to you about that mine was going like this, straight? But then, we got some growth. We went emerald. But you know what? Then we needed to learn some stuff. We learned some stuff, and we actually went down a little bit as well. But then we went up to go diamond. And you see, this business is, if you just focus on the small things, it's the small things that makes the big difference. And make sure that you set a goal for the next week, and make sure you leave the weekend with a ticket to the next weekend. Because if you want to have a big business, I've just got started. I mean, over the next 20 years, we're going to build a very, 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 very large business all over Europe and Asia and even here in the US. But it all comes back to, I'm not going to be building my business. Network 21 is going to be building my business. That's the way I drive my business. And if you want to have a big business, it's not really up to you. It's up to how many people you get to come to seminars connected to your upline and stuff. And as you can see, some people ask me, you have a lot of notes when you speak. Yes, I have a lot of notes, but I can't read. But and this time, this stuff happened again. I got to half of my points, but I will get back into more over the weekend. But my point is basically just to, if a guy that takes 9 months to sponsor one person, it takes him 2 years to go Leaders Club, if he can go diamond and move on to other pins, why can't you? So that's basically my message today. I want you to really be thinking about US is a very, very good place to really get this stuff going. And just hold on to your upline, hold on to Jim and Nancy Dornan, and just set some really serious goals. And I'm looking forward to have you come to Finland or Sweden or wherever and do some seminars. And I want to hear your story, how you made a decision when you were listening to the strange engineer that got a dream and built this business. And we'll see you in the future. Thanks a lot.